This old dresser was collecting dust in my garage, and now it's the most useful piece in my kitchen. I didn't buy anything new, hire a handyman, or spend a fortune, just a little creativity and a free afternoon. If your kitchen feels cluttered or short on space, this idea might just change the way you look at your home. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through how I turned a forgotten piece of furniture into a beautiful, practical solution that makes my kitchen feel calmer and more organized every day. And the best part? Anyone can do this. No heavy lifting, no special tools. Whether you're downsizing, simplifying, or just trying to make life a little easier after 60, this could be your next small win with a big impact. Stick around. You might already have everything you need sitting right in your garage. If your kitchen feels crowded, cluttered, or like it's never got quite enough storage, you're definitely not alone. Over the years, we collect so much cookware, containers, utensils, and somehow, the cabinets never seem to grow with us. It's frustrating when every drawer is crammed and there's no space to breathe. But what if the solution isn't buying more shelves or downsizing everything you own? What if it's already in your home, just hidden in plain sight? Maybe you've got a piece of furniture, a dresser, a side table, an old hutch that's been sitting in the garage or tucked away in a guest room, waiting for a second chance. I used to think mine was just taking up space, but it turned out to be the missing piece I didn't know my kitchen needed. Let me show you how to bring beauty and function back with something you already have. 1. Cleaning and prepping. Let's start with the easiest part, giving this old dresser a fresh start. You don't need to be a DIY expert or even own fancy tools to do this. In fact, I used nothing more than a soft cloth, a little soap and water, and a sheet of sandpaper I found in the toolbox. That's it. No drills, no power tools, just your hands and a little patience. First, I gave the whole piece a good wipe down. Over the years, dust, grease, and even old spider webs had made themselves right at home. You'd be surprised how satisfying it feels to gently wash something you haven't touched in years. It's almost like you're waking it up, reminding it that it still has a purpose. I used warm water, a little mild dish soap, and an old rag. Nothing fancy. If you're dealing with sticky residue or old tape marks, a little vinegar on a cloth can work wonders too. Once it was clean and dry, I ran my hand over the surface and noticed a few rough patches, scratches, nicks, tiny splinters along the edge. I used a small piece of fine grit sandpaper, wrapped it around my fingers, and gently smoothed out the areas that needed a little love. You don't need to sand the whole thing down to bare wood, just enough to soften any jagged bits or spots that catch on your sleeve when you walk past. This isn't about perfection, it's about giving new life to something that still has value. And here's something important to remember. You don't need to worry if the dresser looks a little worn. That's part of its story. Those scratches, they tell you it's been useful. That scuff on the leg, maybe it came from a child's toy or being moved from one home to another. Let it keep its character. You're not covering up history. You're refreshing it so it can keep serving you in a new way. If your dresser has handles or knobs that feel loose, grab a screwdriver and tighten them up. Most are just held in place by a single screw inside the drawer. If you're missing a handle, don't panic. Leave it for now. Sometimes just tightening the existing ones can make it feel 10 times sturdier. And we'll talk about easy style fixes a little later. Now, if you're worried about old smells, maybe the piece sat in storage for years. You can place a small bowl of baking soda or a sachet of lavender in the drawers for a day or two. That natural freshness goes a long way. And it's a simple touch that makes it feel more like part of your home again. More than anything, this step is about reconnecting. You're not just cleaning wood. You're setting the tone for the transformation. This is your moment to slow down, take your time, and enjoy the process. For me, gently wiping and sanding this dresser felt like clearing space in more ways than one. A small act of care that made a big emotional shift. You might find yourself remembering where the dresser came from. Maybe it used to be in your child's room, or maybe you picked it up years ago at a yard sale. As you clean, you're not just preparing the wood. You're preparing to bring a bit of comfort and functionality back into your daily life. So don't rush. Turn on some music, open a window, and take it drawer by drawer. The goal here isn't perfection, it's progress. And once you're done with this step, you'll already be able to see your dresser in a new light. Cleaner, smoother, more ready to serve. And next, we'll find the perfect place in your kitchen to let it shine without sacrificing space. style, or practicality. You'll see how easily it fits in once you know what you're looking for. 2. Choosing a spot in the kitchen. Now that your dresser is clean and prepped, it's time to find the perfect spot for it in your kitchen. This is where the transformation really starts to take shape, not just physically, but emotionally, because now, that piece you once overlooked is about to become a functional, beautiful part of your daily life. Let's start with something simple but important. Measure your space. Take a moment to look around your kitchen. Are there any awkward corners or empty walls that never get used? Maybe there's that one spot where a trash can use to sit, or a rolling cart that never really worked. Bring out your measuring tape. Don't worry. You only need 2 measurements, the width and the depth of the dresser. Then, check the area you have in mind. Make sure there's enough space not just to fit the dresser, but to move around it comfortably. Ask yourself, will I still be able to open the fridge or the oven? Can I pull out the drawers easily without bumping into anything? Does it feel like it belongs, or is it crammed in? You're not just making room, you're inviting in ease. Think about your flow in the kitchen. Where do you naturally walk? Where do you usually stand when you're making your morning coffee or unpacking groceries? That's the kind of space where this dresser can do the most good. Now let's talk about ideal spots. One of the best places for a repurposed dresser is near your refrigerator. That way, it can store things like napkins, food wraps, or even your most used dry goods, things you always need close, but don't want cluttering your counters. Another great option? Next to your coffee station. If you love starting your morning with a cup of tea or coffee, your dresser can become the perfect spot to store mugs, filters, sweeteners, or even a small basket of snacks. Imagine opening a drawer and finding everything you need, no rummaging through cabinets. By the pantry is another smart location. You can use it to store overflow items or categorize. Snacks by drawer, one for crackers, one for granola bars, one for baking tools. The beauty of this setup is that it makes everything visible and reachable, which, as we know, makes daily tasks a lot easier, especially as we get older. If you have a small kitchen, don't rule this idea out. A slim dresser, especially one with just 2 or 3 drawers, can still fit beautifully along a short wall or even under a window. In fact, the less space you have, the more value a compact, well-organized piece like this brings. And here's the thing, you don't need to make it match perfectly. The charm is in the contrast. That little touch of wood or color from another room can warm up a sterile kitchen and make it feel more like home. Don't worry if it's not the same color as your cabinets. If it's clean, purposeful, and well-placed, it will look intentional, like it was always meant to be there. Still not sure where to place it? Here's a little tip I used. Walk through your kitchen and pretend you're hosting a guest. Where do you pause? Where do you put things down? That's usually a great place for extra surface space or hidden storage. Let function guide you, and style will follow. And remember, this isn't about creating a showroom. It's about building a space that works for you. A space where your hands can find what they need, and your eyes can rest on something that makes you smile. Something that reminds you, you can always start fresh, even with something old. Coming up, I'll show you how. I styled the top of this dresser, so it feels like it belongs right in the heart of the kitchen. Not just useful, but beautiful too. You don't need to be a designer to create something that brings both order and joy. Just a few simple touches and a little heart can make all the difference. 3. Cleaning and prepping. Now that your dresser is clean and in place, it's time for the fun part. Styling the outside to make it truly feel like a part of your kitchen. This step isn't about perfection or decorating for anyone else. It's about giving the piece just enough love to make you smile every time you walk by. Start by standing back and looking at it from across the room. Ask yourself, does it feel like it fits in? Does it need a little color? A small change? Or maybe it's perfect just the way it is? If your dresser has some age to it, you don't need to hide that. There's a certain charm in older furniture, the dents, the nicks, the soft wear on the edges. They tell stories. So if you love that vintage look, lean into it. Give it a gentle polish or some wood conditioner to bring out its natural warmth. And let it shine for what it is, something with history, now made useful again. But if you're feeling adventurous, or if the dresser looks a little too tired, you can absolutely give it a simple refresh. A coat of paint can work wonders. Something soft and neutral like cream, sage green, or light blue blends beautifully into most kitchens. Or go bold if that's your style: navy, mustard, even matte black. You don't have to be a painter or artist. Just one small can of chalk paint and a brush will do. And the great thing about chalk paint? No priming, no heavy sanding. It's perfect for beginners and for giving on older surfaces. If painting sounds like too much, consider changing the knobs. Drawer pulls are like jewelry for furniture: small, easy to swap out, and full of personality. You can find beautiful, affordable ones online or at local hardware stores. Ceramic knobs, brushed brass, crystal, or even wooden ones, they all bring something different to the piece. And changing them is as easy as unscrewing the old one and tightening in the new. If you're keeping the original hardware, that's perfectly fine too. You can give them a quick polish with a cloth or just let them be. The goal isn't to erase the past, it's to make it work for the present. Now, let's talk about the inside of the drawers. This is something most people overlook, but it makes a big difference. Adding shelf liner or drawer paper instantly makes the drawers feel clean and intentional. It doesn't just look better, it protects the wood, keeps crumbs or spills from seeping in, and adds a touch of delight when you open them. You can find pattern liners with subtle florals, or neutral colors that suit your style. Or keep it simple with a solid color, or even repurpose wrapping paper and cut it to size. If you want it to stay in place, a little double-sided tape does the trick. It's funny how something as small as opening a drawer to see a clean, pretty liner can lift your mood. It's like your dresser is smiling back at you, saying, "Yes, I belong here." And if you want to take it one step further, you could even add small drawer dividers. Cutlery trays work great. These make it easier to stay organized and reduce the temptation to just toss things in and shut the drawer. But even without them, the freshness of a lined drawer is enough to make this old piece feel brand new again. This is about making it yours. Not showroom perfect, not picture perfect, just yours. A reflection of your style, your history, and your needs. Whether you're keeping the natural wood, giving it a bold coat of paint, or just switching out the knobs. Remember, these small choices make a big emotional impact. Because every time you pass it in your kitchen, you'll feel that tiny bit of pride, the quiet satisfaction of having turned something forgotten into something functional, beautiful, and full of life again. Coming up, I'll show you how I organize the drawers themselves, what I put where, and the surprising little system that's kept it clutter-free without any effort. You'll love what I found in the back of one drawer. It brought back a memory I didn't even know I was missing. For organizing the drawers. Now that the dresser is cleaned, placed, and styled, let's talk about what goes inside, because this is where the real magic happens. When I first opened those drawers after moving the dresser into the kitchen, I had no idea what I'd put in them. But I knew one thing: I wanted them to help me feel more at ease in the kitchen, not add to the clutter. So I started by asking myself, what do I always need but never have a good spot for? Drawer number 1 became my everyday essentials drawer. I filled it with things I reach for constantly: napkins, placemats, kitchen towels, even a few reusable grocery bags. No more cramming them in a cabinet or digging through a laundry basket. Now they're right where I need them, folded neatly, easy to grab. Drawer number 2 turned into my coffee and tea station. I added a little tray for tea bags, tucked my sweetener packets in a small tin, and placed my favorite mugs nearby on top of the dresser. If you love starting your day with a warm cup, this setup makes it feel like a small ritual, simple, comforting, and ready to go. It's like having a cozy cafe corner, without even leaving your kitchen. Drawer number 3 became the snack and smile drawer. Granola bars, crackers, a few treats for grandkids, or yourself. You can even tuck in a small container of nuts or dried fruit. It's nice having snacks within reach, but out of sight. This drawer has kept my counters clear and my snacking more intentional. If you have pets, one drawer could be dedicated to them. Treats, waste bags, grooming brushes, whatever you need for your furry friend. Before, I had these things scattered in 3 different places. Now, they're together and organized, and I never have to hunt for them again. Another idea? Use one drawer for recipes and cooking inspiration. Those clippings from magazines, handwritten cards, or printouts from websites, you can stack them neatly, or use a folder inside the drawer. And if you're like me and still keep a favorite cookbook or 2, this is a perfect home for them. Of course, what you put in your dresser depends on what you need most. That's the beauty of this whole transformation. It's personal, it's flexible, and it evolves with you. Now here's something sweet that happened to me. As I was clearing out the drawers before setting everything up, I reached into the very back of the bottom drawer and felt something wedged underneath the liner. I pulled it out, and there it was, an old, yellowed recipe card in my mother's handwriting. Her peach cobbler. I hadn't seen that card in over 20 years. Wait till you see what I found in the back of one drawer. It brought back memories. Holding that card in my hands, it was like she was standing right next to me in the kitchen. That little moment reminded me, sometimes organizing isn't just about tidying up. It's about reconnecting with parts of ourselves we didn't know were still there. So don't be surprised if this process brings up little treasures of your own. A button, a photo, a list, a note. Let those memories land gently. Let them be part of your new setup. Because this isn't just furniture, it's part of your story. And remember, there's no perfect way to organize. There's only your way. Whether you keep it super simple or get creative with bins and dividers. The goal is ease. Less rummaging, more flow, more calm. Next, I'll show you the final transformation, before and after, plus how it feels to walk into a kitchen that finally works for you, not against you. 5. Decorating the top. Now that the drawers are organized, let's turn our attention to the top of the dresser, because this is the part you and your guests will see first. It's where function meets beauty, and with just a few thoughtful touches, this surface can become one of your favorite spots in the kitchen. Think of the top as your welcome area. It sets the tone. It tells a little story about who you are and how you want to live in your home. And the best part? It doesn't take much to make it warm, useful, and inviting. Let's start with function. What do you actually need this surface to do? Maybe you want a place to keep your coffee maker or electric kettle. That's a great use of the space. Add a mug stand, a tin of tea or coffee grounds, and suddenly you've got a cozy beverage station. Everything in one place, and it frees up your main counter for cooking or prep. Or maybe you're always looking for a home for mail, keys, or your phone. Those little items that always seem to land in a pile somewhere. A small tray or bowl can turn clutter into order. You can even add a little notepad or pin for quick grocery lists or reminders. That way, the dresser becomes a true command center for your day. Now let's talk charm. Because function doesn't have to be boring, and beauty doesn't have to be complicated. A simple vase of fresh flowers or greenery brings life and light into the space. Even a single stem in a small glass bottle can brighten your mood every time you pass by. No flowers, a small houseplant, or even faux greenery works just as well. It's not about perfection, it's about the feeling it gives you. A fruit bowl is another classic that's both practical and beautiful. Keep apples, bananas, or lemons within easy reach, and enjoy the splash of natural color. It reminds you to snack healthy, and it fills the space with warmth. If your kitchen feels a little cold or plain, consider a candle or a decorative object that brings a smile. Maybe a little figurine, a photo in a small frame, or a memento from a place you love. These little personal touches say, "This is my space. It reflects me." But here's the key to making it all work. Balance. Too much on top, and it starts to feel cluttered. Too little, and it looks unfinished. Try grouping things in odd numbers, like a tray with 3 items, a candle, a small plant, and a bowl for your keys. Keep things low profile if you're placing the dresser near a window, so you don't block any light. Also, keep in mind how you move around the kitchen. If you need to set down a grocery bag, or use the top as an extra prep surface from time to time, leave a little clear space. It should be pretty, but also practical. And here's something small that made a big difference for me. I added a folded dish towel, almost like a placemat, under the coffee maker. It added a soft touch and also protected the surface from spills. Little things like that go a long way in making the piece feel like it belongs in the kitchen. In the end, decorating the top isn't about following rules. It's about asking, what do I need in reach? What makes me feel calm? What small thing can I add here that makes me smile, even on a Monday morning? This dresser started as an afterthought, just sitting in the garage, collecting dust. Now it's the first thing I see when I walk into the kitchen. Not just a piece of furniture, but a little island of peace and purpose. Coming up, I'll show you the full transformation, side by side, before and after, plus what this small change has done for my daily routine. Spoiler, I never expected a dusty old dresser to give me this much joy. 6 final touches plus maintenance tips. By now, you've cleaned, placed, styled, and filled your dresser. But here's the secret to making this transformation stick. It's not just about the setup. It's about the habits you build around it. The truth is, even the most beautiful space can fall back into clutter if we don't give it a little love now and then. But the good news? You don't need a major overhaul to keep it looking great. In fact, I have one simple habit that's made all the difference. Every Sunday, I give it a 2-minute tidy. That's it. It's not about pulling everything out or reorganizing from scratch. I just take a quick moment, usually right after my morning coffee, and open each drawer. I check, is anything out of place? Are there wrappers or random papers that snuck in during the week? Do I need to restock napkins or move something that doesn't belong? Most of the time, it's just a matter of straightening a towel, tossing a gum wrapper, or moving a granola bar back into place. It's small, but it resets the space. I also use that moment to wipe the top with a soft cloth. Just a gentle swipe to keep it fresh and dust-free. If you've got flowers or fruit on top, this is a great time to swap them out or freshen them up. Here's what I've learned. Clutter doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in. But the same is true for order. You build it a few seconds at a time. When your storage system works with you, not against you, tidying becomes less of a chore and more of a check-in. You're not cleaning up a mess. You're protecting something that makes your life easier. And that small mindset shift makes all the difference. Want to go a step further? Keep a small notepad or sticky pad in one drawer. Use it to jot down what you're low on or what's running out. That way, you turn your Sunday tidy into a moment of quiet preparation. You're not reacting, you're staying one step ahead. And if things ever start to feel messy again, that's okay. It doesn't mean you've failed. It just means life happened. Give yourself grace and start fresh with another 2-minute tidy. It's not about being perfect. It's about staying connected to your space. Let this dresser be more than just storage. Let it be a symbol of calm, of usefulness, of beauty. A daily reminder that no matter your age, you can create a home that supports you, that reflects your values, that brings you joy. Coming up next, I'll show you the before and after transformation and share exactly how this one small change has made a big difference in my daily routine. You won't believe what my kitchen looked like just a week ago. This dresser actually belonged to my daughter when she was little. I almost donated it, but I'm so glad I didn't. Back then, it held tiny socks, bedtime books, and crayon drawings. Now, it holds kitchen towels, coffee pods, and recipes. Yet somehow, it still holds memories, too. Every time I open a drawer, I'm reminded of those quiet moments, and it makes the space feel warmer. Repurposing it wasn't just practical, it was personal. It gave the piece new life and gave me a new sense of peace. If you've got an old piece of furniture with a story, don't rush to get rid of it. With just a few small changes, it might become the most meaningful part of your home. And if it helps you stay a little more organized along the way, even better. I never thought something this simple could make my kitchen feel this warm and peaceful. It didn't take a renovation or fancy tools, just a little creativity and a piece of furniture I already had. Now, everything has its place, and the space finally works with me, not against me. It's not just prettier, it's calmer, easier to cook, easier to clean, and honestly, easier to breathe. I actually enjoy being in here again. Sometimes, the smallest changes bring the biggest peace, and this dresser proved that to me. What's one piece of furniture in your home you could repurpose? A side table, a nightstand, maybe even a bookshelf? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to feature your ideas in a future video. Your creativity might just inspire someone else to see their home in a new light. Thumbs up if this inspired you to look at your old furniture differently. Give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more smart, beautiful ways to simplify life after 60. We've got so many more little wins ahead.